Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Chisholm. I'm back with another video. And in today's video, we will be reacting to Ben Simmons just fooled everybody. So basically, James Harden got traded to the 76ers. Now for the 76ers, this is good. But for the Nets, this is terrible. Why would you trade away a whole superstar, James Harden, to get Ben Simmons? I think Seth Curry and like Drummond. Seth Curry, alright, really because it's Curry's brother. You know what I'm saying? Drummond, what does he do? And Ben Simmons.
James Harden has just been officially traded.
I just think the 76ers just wanted to get away Ben Simmons. I would have did the same thing. Ben Simmons is just there. What does Ben Simmons do? Nothing. Tall for nothing. He does not do nothing for the team, honestly. Now getting James Harden is good, but for the Nets, it's alright. And you know, Kyrie does not play every game, so like it's really just gonna be KD by himself because Ben Simmons not doing nothing. Seth Curry might shoot a few threes. Andre Drummond, he not doing nothing.
For Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. And guys, I've got to say, with all of the Ben Simmons drama that has happened in the past few months, I really believe that this is the best possible situation for every party involved. That's what we're going to get into in this video. We are going to look at this trade from both sides, of course. We are going to talk about the new superstar duo in Joel Embiid and James.
Did you just see what he did? You traded away this man for Ben Simmons, bro. Now, if Ben Simmons can play like how he played in like 2016, 2017, all right. But for the past year, Ben Simmons has been terrible. He has not done anything.
Or not the Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant trio can work. I know a lot of people are doubting Ben right now. I know a lot of people are hating on
James
Ben.
Harden has only been there not even for a year.
Solid reasons as to why
been like
I think
9,
the Ben
10
Simmons
months
situation in Brooklyn is going to be an
like
absolute
9
home
months.
run. Of course, that remains to be seen. But what's up, guys? Mike here. And for now, before we jump into the Ben and Brooklyn Nets side of things, let's talk 76ers basketball. Let's talk James Harden. And so looking at the Philadelphia 76ers here, first off, we just have to mention that Daryl Morey quite literally proved everyone wrong. During the summer, after Ben Simmons had his struggles, what were we told? People were saying Daryl Morey should take offers such as Malcolm Brogdon and other names. I don't really want to drag any players down here, but at the end of the day, Daryl Morey held out for what he wanted. He wanted James Harden specifically, and he just played the waiting game. He waited until there was a disgruntled star. It just so happened to be James Harden, and when that star unofficially asked out, as James Harden apparently did, Daryl Morey jumped at the chance, and now the 76ers are a legitimate NBA Finals contender. I mean, they already were with Joel.
You said the finals. I don't know about finals. No, I'm saying I don't know about finals.
Embiid having an MVP season, but with James Harden, that just brings them to another tier. Now, with James Harden, I do want to address right away the fact that he has been a little bit overweight, possibly. He has, in many people's...
And it's really crazy because, like, James Harden was, like, getting a triple-double going to the playoffs when he was in Houston. He just needed a little bit more help. But with Joel Embiid, I think Joel Embiid is the leading scorer. Joel Embiid might win MVP. He's not. As long as Curry in the league, he's not. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Joel Embiid been doing good. So, with Joel Embiid, they could go to the finals. But I don't think they're going to the finals.
Eyes given up on a second team, as he did the same thing with the Houston Rockets technically. However, I just want to lay out this situation for you guys right now. I really want you to just think and put yourself in James Harden's shoes, because I think his actions are perfectly understandable, and I think the entire reason he is asking out comes down to one man, and that is Kyrie Irving. To be clear here,
hold on.
because I think his actions are perfectly understandable, and I think the entire reason he is asking out comes down to one.
This man is asking out. So you did all that crying in Houston. You wanted to be an immature baby in Houston. You did all that in Houston just for you to say, I'm tired of James Harden. I'm really tired of you, bro. You did all that in Houston just to want out. You've only been there for like 8 months, bro. You've been in Brooklyn for maybe 8 months. And bro, because of Kyrie Irving, you don't even play every game. It's like, You just gotta learn how to pass the ball. Like, y'all can win. Y'all three together can win every game besides the Warriors. You just want to be a ball hog. Now, you can be a ball hog on the Sixers, you know what I'm saying? Joel Embiid is a center, so he's not really about to be getting the ball like that. Although he's the leader, he's the leading scorer. I don't know how he's the leading scorer. He a whole center. But, I mean, it's cool and all. But you did all that just to want to leave you in. Now you doing too much. You know what I'm saying? For somebody that does not have a ring, you really doing too much.
One man, and that is Kyrie Irving. To be clear here, I'm not trying to say anything about Kyrie at all, one way or the other.
I'm glad you leaving, because Kyrie and KD was perfectly fine without you, bro. To be honest with you, like, they was perfectly fine without you, bro. Now Kyrie can do him, bro. I'm a huge Kyrie fan. Curry my favorite player, but I got Kyrie bracelets on, bro. I'm glad you leaving. Let Kyrie do Kyrie. KD been doing his thing. Now Kyrie got more room to do him. Kyrie can average a cool 30 points per game now. He don't gotta pass the ball to you no more. Bye-bye. We don't need you anyways.
All I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, James Harden has played more minutes with the Brooklyn Nets than Kyrie Irving has, despite the fact that Kyrie Irving joined the Nets 450 plus days before James Harden. So with that in mind, let's go back.
I mean, that vaccine and the fact that he was just taking a break. Last year, he wasn't even playing for real. And man, and somehow still scored at least 20 points every game.
In the past a bit, let's think back to when James Harden did ask out of Houston. When he was pitched on the Brooklyn Nets, he was pitched on a big three that would lessen the offensive load on him. James Harden throughout his entire career has been at times a one-man team, and that is not to take anything away from his teammates, but we all know James Harden. We all know the dribbling at the top of the key. We all know the James Harden that was searching for a foul or a step back three. That James Harden, at the end of the day, put a lot of miles on his body. But before we continue, guys, I'm very excited to say that
I mean, like, I think he want to be the center of attention. With KD and Kyrie there, he's not. I mean, like, James Harden is still James Harden, but, like, with KD and Kyrie there, it's like, he can't do what he did in Houston and get a triple-double every single game, almost. But with Joel Embiid, there's, like, he can still do that. But now he has a little bit more help. So I kind of see why the 76ers would be a good team for him. But at the same time, you did all that just to want to leave again? Nah.
This video is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. That's right. Incredible daily the big season James Harden spent in Houston, he averaged a combined 37 minutes a game, and he really didn't miss many games. If you look, 2013, 78 games, 14, 73, 15, 81, 16, 82, 17, 81, 2019, 78 again. The reason I bring this up is that all of these miles, of course, add up. James Harden has suffered some wear and tear on his body throughout his career, and with the Brooklyn Nets, he was pitched on a big three. He was pitched on Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, stepping up and being able to provide elite offensive level talent to lessen that offensive load on James Harden. And remember, when James Harden first got to the Nets, he was incredible. He suddenly went from the player he was in Houston to a guy who was much more team oriented, to a guy who was looking to make the extra pass, to a guy who was a great teammate. If you didn't know, last season, everyone surrounding the team said that it was not Kevin Durant, it was not Kyrie Irving, it was James Harden who was personally reaching out to rookies, who was building connections with the team, with the staff, who was
trying. That's what I'm saying. And now all of a sudden you want out. You just gotta learn how to just pass the ball sometimes. You don't have to score 40 points every single game. If I had Kyrie and KD on my team, I for sure would pass the ball to them. I wouldn't want to score no more than 30 points myself. If I have two superstars on my team and you wanted it to be easier for you, you didn't want to have to score a triple-double every game and still lose. That's why you went to the Nets, so you can have more help, because you have two other superstars. Now you just want to be too selfish.
trying to do his best to make sure that this situation in Brooklyn worked out. Fast forward to this season, and I can't blame Kevin Durant at all, he's been injured. But with Kyrie Irving having his whole thing in the beginning of the season and now only playing in only half of the games possibly for the rest of the season, who knows? Can we really blame James Harden here? I mean, if I was trying to win a championship at this point in my career and then the entire Kyrie Irving situation happened and it was just a distraction all year, I mean, yeah, I feel like I would want out too. End of the day here for the Philadelphia.
Kyrie ain't even do nothing to you. Like, I get he not playing that many games, but Kyrie, I mean, KD is injured, but with KD there, it's like you should be cool, because if you able to do what you were doing in Houston and you got a little bit more support, what's the problem? I get Kyrie not playing every game, KD injured, but when KD was here and it was just you and him, you were good. And then when Kyrie did play, it was like y'all could not be beat.
Daryl Morey waited and he got his guy. I fully believe with everything I just said, combined with the fact that James Harden was asking out, means that we are going to see an improved James Harden in Philly compared to what he was with the Nets this season. Now, as for the fit with Joel Embiid, it is definitely going to be interesting. Both guys have never really played with a player like this. Yes, James Harden has played with pick and roll guys before, but Joel Embiid can shoot the three. He's an MVP candidate. He is an entirely different big man than James Harden has ever played with, but that is an amazing thing because for the first time in his career, James Harden is playing with an elite center. Hey guys, before we continue, I would like to say please subscribe and turn on post notifications if you are enjoying this video. Subscribing and turning on post notifications helps out this channel.
So who is on the Sixers? Joel Embiid and James Harden. We all know Joel Embiid gets injured every season. Joel Embiid cannot stay healthy. So if Joel Embiid cannot stay healthy, more than likely, he might get injured before the season ends. So if that's the case, it's really just going to be James Harden. And with just James Harden, they can't do anything. They can't do nothing. The Sixers cannot do anything with just James Harden. Just James Harden with the Sixers versus just James Harden with the Rockets. I'd pick the Rockets, James Harden versus just the Sixers. Now I know Joel Embiid is going to be on the Sixers, but more than likely he's going to get injured because Joel Embiid cannot stay healthy.
Channel a lot. If you are enjoying this video, if you do love the NBA, it would be awesome and greatly appreciated if you subscribed and joined the grind to 2 million. Yes, 2 million subs, guys. That is insane. We're gonna get there, and for now, let's get back to the video. And as for Joel Embiid, for the first time in his career since the decision to let Jimmy Butler go, Joel Embiid has needed a guy like James Harden. We saw at the end of last year's playoffs, Embiid was trying to do it all. He was hurt and he had some rough shooting nights and he had some rough turnover nights, but that's because no one else on the team was willing to step up. James Harden is a man who is willing to step up, and at the end of the day, James Harden is a minimum top 15 player in the NBA right now, I would say, which means combined with Joel Embiid, the 76ers are looking great. I do get that James Harden is going to sign a contract extension this season with the 76ers that is probably going to overpay him quite a bit in his older years, but that's really not the point of this, right? The point is to win a championship now. The 76ers are not wasting a year of Joel Embiid's career. They are capitalizing on his MVP type season. They are seizing the moment. They are trying to win now, and I love it. Now, switching gears.
I mean, I think if that's the case, you know what I'm saying, the Eastern Conference Finals might be Joel Embiid, you know, and James Harden versus the Bulls. And with the Bulls this season, bro, the Bulls cannot be beat. Like the Bulls, if they play against the Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm picking the Bulls. And if Joel Embiid gets hurt, I'm for sure picking the Bulls.
Here and heading over to the Brooklyn Nets side of things. First of all, Seth Curry is an incredible pickup. I feel like with all these trade rumors floating around, Seth has become kind of underrated, actually. The man is averaging 15 points.
Now I kind of think it's actually good for the Nets too. Because like Kyrie can do his thing, KD can do his thing, and you got Curry. You got Ben Simmons is like, hold on, let me see. You got, what is Ben Simmons gonna play? Shooting guard, or he can play point guard. Kyrie can play shooting guard. I think Kyrie been playing shooting guard. Yeah, and then Seth Curry can come off the bench. You know what I'm saying?
Points a game this season, is shooting 40% from three, and is averaging 4 assists. Brooklyn made it clear around the league that they wanted more wing shooting before this whole Ben Simmons situation even happened. So the fact that they were able to get an elite wing shooter in Seth Curry along with Ben Simmons in a trade where James Harden was already asking out, to me is just great. In the playoffs, I really expect Seth Curry to make a noticeable difference. I feel like with this roster, I mean, if Ben Simmons taps into the potential that he had before, not even the potential, if Ben Simmons is just the player that he was before, the Brooklyn Nets, if they are healthy, if they have their whole
That's
team.
what I'm saying. If Ben Simmons was the player he was when he first got drafted, like 2016, 2017, bro, the Nets can be very scary. But like Ben Simmons now, I don't know what he doing. He too scary.
Together are insanely good. I mean, I'll go on the record and say right now, I would easily have them as the title favorites if they are healthy. And of course, if Ben Simmons is able to perform with all eyes on him. I feel like we can all agree that shooting at the end of games was not Ben Simmons' biggest priority. In fact, as the playoffs...
I've been seeing that his 3-point shot been getting better though. I've been seeing him at practice. I've seen a few of his practice highlights. He been shooting pretty good now. If he can do that in a game, then he'll be very scary because he's 6'10", that can shoot, can handle the ball, and if he's not too scary to go to the hole and actually go up for a layup, he'll be very scary. But every time he gets the ball in the paint, he want to pass the ball. It can be a whole 5'7" midget on him, a whole foot shorter than him. He still want to pass the ball.
Went on, he began to attempt half the number of drives to the basket than he did in the regular season, an obvious indicator that he was scared, or at least in his head. But really, that is Ben Simmons' main problem. I don't think playing under the spotlight in general is Ben Simmons' problem. He's been under the spotlight his entire life. He was the #1 recruit, he was the #1 draft pick, he has played in
like that's just the thing. I think that like he probably like too scared to make a mistake, or he just too scared. Like, he's not a bad player, but it's like when you 6'10", that can dribble the ball, and that's Ben Simmons, like you shouldn't be scared for it. Go to the rim, dunk, shoot. You can't shoot, but I'm pretty sure now you probably can shoot. You need to just learn how to shoot, because if you can't shoot, I mean you 6'10", that's a point guard, so you really could just dunk all game. But you just scared to go to the hole. Like, you just scared to go up. I don't see why. When you're 6'10", being guarded by a 6'2" point guard.
Multiple high-level playoff games, and he has had great games in some of those playoff games. So when I look at Ben Simmons, I don't look at all of the negatives here. I look at the player that Ben Simmons was, and I fully expect him to come back the same player. Because something else to think about, everyone has of course gotten on Ben Simmons because he has not been able to shoot the 3-ball for his entire career. With that, a lot of people were mad because they knew Ben Simmons was not practicing as much as he should be, and instead was doing things like playing Call of Duty live on stream. However,
What I'm saying, stuff like that. You're not a bad player, you just don't practice, and it shows in the game. Because in the game, you don't know what you're doing. You're very modest with the ball. You like to pass the ball too much because you don't want to make a mistake, and you fear that because you don't practice. If you practice, you will be confident in yourself. You know what I'm saying?
With that thought process in mind, if Ben Simmons already was an all-star and an all-NBA type talent without practicing his 3-point shot, without working as hard as everyone wanted him to, well then for me, the concern of is Ben Simmons going to be the same player is very much lessened. I mean, I think it's funny to say, but the point I'm trying to make here is...
But I mean, the question is, does he want to work? Does he want to practice? If you don't want to practice, you're not going to get better. Don't matter if you're 6'10", don't matter if you can, doesn't matter about none of that. If you're the most talented player naturally, if you don't practice, you're not getting better. You're getting worse and worse. So if he practices, then yes, he can be very unstoppable. But he don't practice. You know, like, you know what I'm saying?
Is that even if Ben Simmons wasn't practicing,
well, he doesn't practice as much as he should. You know what I'm saying?
A ton while he wasn't playing, as long as he is in game shape, he will be a great player. We have seen that. His superstar talent in transition and his superstar talent on defense is not suddenly going to go away. At the end of the day, he is a 6'10" amazing defender who can also dribble the basketball and can also set up his teammates. He is actually the perfect third option for 2 offensive players. With Kevin Durant,
he is. That's what I'm saying. He is. It's like Kyrie, KD can score. You got Seth Curry too that can shoot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Ben Simmons can set up the plays and stuff. That's cool. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? I like it, but not as much as I like James Harden.
Durant and Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons never has to think about touching the ball at the end of games. KD or Kyrie wouldn't let him anyway. They're gonna wave him off, he's gonna go where he goes. Kyrie and KD will close out games, and Ben will be left to do what he truly does best. It also, I just have to mention, I do not think that this sets a good precedent for basketball at all. I do not like the fact that Ben Simmons, a man who signed a max contract extension with his team, was able to give up on his team. He gave up on his team, let's just be clear there. Anyway, I don't like the fact that Ben Simmons was able to give up on his team and somehow still end up in the perfect scenario for him where he's able to compete for an NBA championship. I mean, this isn't even against Ben Simmons in general. This is just a dangerous precedent for the NBA. What happens if, I don't know, a guy like Zion signs a max contract, decides he doesn't like New Orleans anymore and does the same thing? Just something to consider. We definitely might be talking about that in a future video. For now though, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. If you are subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day, guys.
Yep, man. What do y'all think, man? I think it's a pretty good trade. I think it's a good trade. Good trade for both sides. Now that I look at it, at first I was like, getting Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and Drummond for James Harden wasn't good. But now that I see it like this, you know what I'm saying? You got Kyrie, you got KD, you got Ben Simmons that can orientate, or I don't know how to say it, orientate the offense. And you got James Harden with Joel Embiid, the leading scorer. He got some support, but at the same time, it's like Joel Embiid, like he can never stay healthy. That's the problem. If Joel Embiid can't stay healthy, and it's just James Harden by himself. So, but hey, man, let me go ahead and go to bed. I got a game tomorrow. Kids, people in general, don't do drugs.